guys. Welcome to our second podcast. And
we might have a name.
We don't have a name yet.
It's actually could be the first topic. Is we are still the nameless podcast.
How about the Flop City? Flop City.
We got a few.
Oh yeah. They want to name it these corny names I don't even like. No one else would like them.
Like if you want to name the podcast that will make you laugh.
Well, all right. Well, anyway, besides that, we're supposed to have some snow on the East Coast, like New York and like Pennsylvania,
You gotta introduce
New
yourself.
Jersey.
Introduce yourself.
This isn't a news show, so
Introduce yourself.
This is officially our second episode. This is our second episode. We still don't have a name. I had two suggestions. One,
Flop City. I don't know. I don't even know what that is.
I need you to stop talking. One was the TheRippStixx podcast.
No, that's like a little.
But we
too
already
boring.
have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
That's named that.
That I only post videos on that gets 1,000 views, and you don't even.
But think about like where Mr. Beast started and what his turned into. You're thinking about making a cool name. I'm thinking about making a cool podcast, and then the name doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
All right,
So listen,
we're wasting our time.
We'll talk about it more. I suggested either the TheRippStixx, and then the second one was the Flop City. So
Yeah, I like that.
again, I'm your host, Dad, aka Keith, aka coolest dad in the world.
I don't like doing this.
To my left, I have Lincoln. Lincoln is constantly worried about what everybody else thinks. Link, say hello.
No.
Okay. And then to Lincoln's left, we have Franklin. Franklin is straight off of a double header yesterday. He played pretty impressive. He had a bunch of points. He hustled. That was the biggest thing. I didn't even care about the points. He hustled.
And I am 8 years old. I'm in 3rd grade, and a thing I like about things I like are like sports, drawing.
Well, I think didn't we introduce each other the first episode?
Oh, well, just a reminder.
All right, well, let's get into the stuff.
How I
now.
thought we'd start though is I thought we'd talk about each one of us would talk about our week.
Okay.
My week was a 3 out of.
Hold on, I didn't ask you. I'm gonna go first, and I also didn't ask you to rate your week. I asked you to talk about your week. So I'm gonna go first.
This is not what people want to listen to.
I'm gonna go first, and my week was pretty stressful. Work. I won't really get into that. I've been struggling to get back into training jiu-jitsu. I find myself not wanting to drive all the way to the gym because it's about 35 minutes. I'd rather stay home and watch a Sixers game with you guys or something like that. Other than that, my right shoulder is really hurting for some reason. Like I can barely lift my arm up. It's like really weird. But I'm excited to be back on the show. So Lincoln, how was your week this week?
Fine.
Yeah, what'd you do? What was name one good thing, one bad thing?
One bad thing is that actually I'm not gonna say the bad thing because it relates to someone else, and I don't want to make them feel bad.
Yeah, we don't have to say that. You could just, if it was a problem at school, you could say I had a problem at school.
Yeah, it wasn't like a problem at school, but it's just like getting annoying. But I'm not gonna get into that. We had a day off at Wednesday because there was there was floods around the area and floods, and our school was like down, so we couldn't even go.
We had some pretty crazy weather. I mean, the one day I left to go to work we live like 5 minutes from the turnpike. It took me like 23 minutes to get to the turnpike because every road that I had to take, there was either a down tree or a down power line.
And yeah.
Frank, how was your week?
It was good. One thing I didn't like was that all back-to-back games on Saturday.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
That was tough. You guys had a really good first game. Tons of points were scored. You were sweating so bad, looked like someone threw you in a swimming pool. And then you had an hour-long rest, and then you had another game.
Yeah, and the good thing is that I got better at stat line and like scoring points and rebounding and defense.
So I'll tell you what.
And I'm slow at basketball.
You
like you, chick.
You did. But I'll tell you what was most impressive. More impressive than the points.
And then can I say something else?
More impressive than
about basketball?
The rebounds. You hustled, and you were a very good teammate. You passed when you had to pass. You shot when you had a shot. And remember how the ref kept saying, like, stay off the ground, stay off the ground. I liked when you went to the ground because when that ball was loose, you would jump on it. And that showed good hustle. So I thought you did a really good job.
That ref has been coaching the league, like my league, because I've been playing for like 3 years, and he's been coaching. He's never really.
He's been reffing. He hasn't been coaching.
Well,
I mean reffing. Yeah, reffing.
And the good thing about points and my stat line, but the bad thing was that we lost both games in a row.
Well, it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, you guys will come back.
It's weird too because like I feel like your team is good,
but like they can't get rebounds really.
It's not that. I don't know what it is. I think it's like you. Like it might be the rebounds. I don't think it's the defense because I think you guys play pretty good defense. I think
they just get lucky.
I think you allow too many.
Shots to fall?
Yeah, I think you allow too many like repeat rebounds, like where there's
because like that kid ground like 5 rebounds in like one play.
But they were way, especially the second team, they were way taller than you guys. And the first team,
like they have like 5 fourth graders.
Yeah, first team had a really tall kid, and
he was hitting everything.
He also had a couple fourth graders that were really good. Doesn't matter that you're in fourth grade, but if you're in fourth grade and you're really good, that's
and one thing is that, Frank, when you're hustling back on defense, like turn around and like not like run down when the ball's coming because one time you were not looking and the guy went straight past you and got an easy layup.
No, he didn't. I got the block.
That's like
it's not.
Listen, there's a coach here.
The first game.
There's a coach on this podcast. That would be me. Let's stick with
okay, well,
let's stick with positive stuff.
So before we get into like our topics and stuff, we are starting a sports podcast. It's not out yet, and we haven't made an episode, but
I don't know why you're talking about that because we've never even discussed this yet.
You said we'll start it. Well, maybe, but
this podcast, I don't really want to get into this argument on the podcast. This is our podcast, and we can talk about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, but just so the people who love sports can't.
I get it.
All right, well,
some of the most famous podcasts in the entire world,
sports podcasts,
don't have like, we only do this or we only do that.
Yeah, but I do like talking about sports, and unlike you guys, kind of do.
And let's get into the topics that we made up.
All right, I'll start.
All right.
Hold on. How about you don't start?
How about I do?
How about Franklin has been very patient.
Because he doesn't even want to talk on the podcast.
He's following.
I'm the actual one who wants to talk.
Are you done?
Yeah.
He's following the rules of letting other people speak and knowing when and when not to jump in. So, Franklin, Why don't you talk about your topic first?
So I wrote down the topic that I thought would be a good one. And the topic is, if you created an invention, what would it be?
Want to start?
Did
The
you have
host
some?
will start.
I'll start. Okay, man. Well, I'm gonna try to keep this fun. And
No, you don't. No, it can be anything.
I understand that,
Like, it can be like
but I'm gonna
something
keep this fun because, listen, I could go. Oh, I'm gonna create an invention that would make everybody
happy.
happy. Exactly. Or I could create an invention that goes, I want to make sure that there's no homeless people. So
Like-
I'm going to take those off the table.
So, like, you can, like,
I get
the
it.
rules
Yeah,
are,
I
like,
get
you
it.
can,
We get
it can be something invented, like, you can make an ice cream machine maker, but it can, like, be a robot and visit around the world.
I get it. I get it.
All right.
Okay. I think, and again, I'm keeping this like pretty fun.
Yeah.
I wish I came up with an invention where it was a machine that all you have to do is type into it, like almost like picture combination of a computer and a microwave. And you walk up to it and you go beep, bop, 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 beep, 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 and you type in exactly what you want to eat, and you hit start, and then out comes whatever it is that you want. So, for instance,
I'd buy that in an instant.
if I was like, oh man,
too.
you know what? I'd really like to have a ribeye with this and but boom, 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 boom. I type it in, hit start, and in like a couple minutes, there's my dinner.
Wait, can you like say like I would like an 8-piece McDonald's chicken nugget and it will come out?
Yeah, sure.
Like, all right.
Yeah,
Good invention. I'd buy that.
Yep, I would buy that, but how much would it be?
Oh yeah, and you have to say the price of your invention.
Well, there's a lot involved with that. Like,
Like $15.99.
do you sell the machine, and then on
Worldwide.
the back end of the machine, there's like the ingredients, or like where it's like you buy the machine and then you have to buy ingredients to feed the machine, or is the machine some sort of like magical whatever? If it's like some magical machine that's instantly able to make stuff like that, you'd have to charge probably like
100.
$1 million.
$2,000.
I'd buy that. It's reasonable.
Like what
You
I
could
was
say you just
thinking of when
want
you said
food.
that, I was thinking like you put the like you're like, oh, and you put the ingredients in the back, and if it doesn't know what it is, you can type it in, and then it'll come out.
I got a pretty good invention. Can I go now?
Yep. So mine, and what would I call it? I would call it. Oh, I know what I would call it.
What?
I would call it. I would call it the Wyckoff Any Meal.
Well, that's kind of good. That's kind of good.
It's not good. I don't like the name.
Lincoln,
I bet it could be any.
Wait a minute, why don't you like the name?
Lincoln,
I
why
call
do
it
you not
Any
like-
Meal because you could literally walk up to it and type in
No,
any
no,
meal you
like
want.
you can type in ice cream.
It's the Wyckoff port. Just delete that and do any meal.
Dude, you wouldn't want to put your name on it?
The Wyckoff.
Yeah, but
The
you
Keith
can, you
Wyckoff
can put it on
any
the
meal.
box. You can put it on the box. Made by Wyckoff, fam.
Do you know Ford? Like Ford trucks?
Yep, he was named Ford.
Henry Ford.
That was his last name.
I know, but like,
What if he decided to call it Donkey? No one would ever know.
all right, and that's a good.
Hold on, we got.
All right, I've got a good one. My thing that I want to create is, do you know in like a video game or a movie where you're like take Fortnite for example, and you would like say, oh, I really want to go in Fortnite and like be in the game. I know there's VR, but like this is not like something you have to wear on your head. It's a device, kind of like a portal. You can go to a place that's not like real. Like you can go to Harry Potter universe, but if you die, you respawn back into your room with like the device. And
That's a VR headset.
no, but like you instantly leave the world
But Lincoln,
and
that's
come
like
out of the portal.
that's like VR, but you're not in like.
So it's
and no, and there, you can feel stuff like vividly feel something and
so
like
it's almost like
eat stuff.
like a portal machine that
Yeah.
like transports you.
What would you call it?
I'd probably call it fiction traveler, because it's fiction world and you can travel into it. And I'd probably charge about 10 million for it.
What would you call it again?
10 million.
I'd call it fiction traveler because you travel in the fictional world.
I think it's a great invention. We got to work on the name.
But all right, that's what I'm saying with yours. But and I know I just said 10 million. I charge.
Wait,
but-
what was it
10 million?
called?
How many people do you think will be able to afford 10 million?
All right, fine. I'm gonna charge
What's it called?
500.
He's calling it the Lincoln Wyckoff fictional
I'm gonna-
any world traveler thing.
No, not Lincoln Wyckoff at the beginning. I'm gonna charge 800K for it because you could literally start a new life and go in there, and if you die, you come back to the new world. Literally, you can go out. Say if you want to go to Avengers and you find a girl you want to marry, you could start a new life.
So you'd want to find a fake girl in a fake world and have a fake
and then
marriage?
when you die, you can't see that girl.
This sounds like
no,
the
but-
Matrix.
No, but only an idiot would think that. Yeah, it's like the Matrix, but you can go. Like I'd probably go to NBA 2K world and go into the game and actually.
They made a
see-
movie about this. It's called Space Jam.
No, but that's not NBA 2K.
Lincoln.
No, and I probably
God.
I'd probably go to the Free Guy movie because that movie is like you're basically in a game and yeah, it's funny.
Lincoln.
Stop.
Lincoln. What's the thing called again?
It's called Fiction Traveler.
Fiction traveler. That's not horrible. I think we could probably work on that name if we
Yeah.
were going to really, especially for $800,000.
Oh, and guys, and even though the prices might be outrageous, just don't worry about that. Leave in the comments below, or if there even is a comment in the below, because I know we're posting on YouTube, but if you're listening on like other things, name which invention that you like best. And I'm sure a lot of you are gonna say,
I didn't even go.
well, I'm telling that right now. All right, we'll move on to Frank's.
Hold on one second, Frank. Hey, Lincoln. Can you hear me? I'm using a megaphone so you can hear me. This podcast already has a host, buddy. All right? Don't make the host.
But
Mad.
but Dad, if we start the sports podcast, then I am the host because I created it. Okay. We'll go to Frank's now.
Okay, Franklin. This was your topic. If you can create any invention, what would it be?
I'm actually still thinking about it, but I think I have one. So it would be called it will be called
We can come back to you if you
the
want.
sports generator.
A sports generator.
Yeah, and it like, so you go to this like app on your phone and you click it and like there would be like sports like tennis, basketball, football, hockey, soccer. And it would tell you how to do tricks and stuff, and And even like there's videos from famous people like Steph Curry, and
when you say
basically
tricks, do you mean like how to do stuff?
like skills.
It's
yeah.
it's basically just an app, right?
Yeah, and well, I made and
Like they
so
download it off your
it's
phone.
almost like a virtual coach.
yeah, and like there's this thing when you go on the sport you want, like say basketball, and if you don't like any of these things, then you can just go like this, type in Michael Jordan, and it will tell you like how to do stuff that Michael Jordan did when he was.
That sounds pretty cool. Do you have to
Sounds
pay?
pretty cool.
Do you have to pay for the
What
app?
would you charge? Would this be like a subscription model where you pay every month,
Or is it just like
Yeah. Every month it will be $100.
$100 to learn any sport from any athlete? I'd say that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it's a pretty good deal because if you're learning from LeBron or Curry, they're really good athletes. And yeah. And like Tiger Woods if you want to go in golf or
That's a pretty good one.
that's good.
Hey, this so we might want to mention before we go to Lincoln's topic.
Yep.
After Franklin's games yesterday, we decided to drive down to the shore, and it was like really windy and really cold. Dad wanted to surf, but it was not very good weather
Yeah.
to surf. But
We found
they
I found
Lincoln found like 11 full conch shells.
they were on the beach washed up because of the storm that hit, and it was pretty cool.
I would say we have found
Like 12.
a dozen total.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah,
We find
I've-
them sporadically.
Yeah, like the first conch shell I've ever found was like in the rocks on our beach.
And Mom will usually see on Instagram some woman will post like, "Oh my God, I just got all these conch shells," and we're like, "What the heck? How did they get all those conch shells?"
Yeah, it's like the size of your head.
Probably
this
just trying to
morning-
get views.
This morning, Mom and Lincoln decided to go out to do the sunrise,
And we actually found that
there
much.
was a ton of them. So that was pretty cool.
Wait, where'd you guys go?
Our beach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Between between Roosevelt and like 2nd Street North.
All right. So
Lincoln's topic
my
now.
topic is if you could live anywhere, like not even the fictional world, where would you live? Like anywhere. You can even say here. So
Do I have to go first?
no, Frank.
Well, like you said, fictional too.
Fictional and real.
So, let me ask you a question. If you go into a game and you die, would you respond?
If you die in your world, you die in your world.
Oh, that's sudden death. Like, if someone picks, like, a forest, you're gonna die instantly.
Like if you pick Jurassic Park,
You're gonna die.
like near
I know what mine is, and I would
Yeah, you can go first, Dad.
what's
I
yours?
just want to explain why. So, in general, like if it was not specific and there were not, are you tied to like your current situation? In other words, like,
Like if you had a big presentation at work, you'd still have that.
yeah,
No, it's just you. Like say you're the same age right now, same wife, same kids. You just restart somewhere else.
okay, great. That's the way I was going to approach it. So, I would definitely move. If money was not an object, I would definitely move
Yeah, you don't have to worry about buying anything.
to Hawaii or like
How'd you
Tahiti.
spell that?
Tahiti.
Hawai, I think.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. I would really like to move to a place where there's a lot less distractions. And I'll tell you what, like, you know how we wake up
Yeah.
and say it's the weekend and we'll go, "Oh, what do you want to do? Oh, let's go to this, let's go to the mall, or let's go to Dick's, or let's go to the
Yeah.
food store. I would love it if the place that we lived at, there was none of that, and we could just like,
So you don't want,
here's a great example. You know that show that I watched, 100-Foot Wave?
Yeah.
You know where that guy lives in Hawaii?
Yeah.
Where it's like he walks out of his front door and he walks like 50 feet and he's on what looks to be like a deserted beach. Like there's nobody there. And he's got a jet ski, and sometimes maybe he'll paddle out and surf off the reef. Sometimes maybe he'll just go and snorkel and look at fish. Sometimes he just walks on the beach. Like that's what I would want to do every single day of my life.
sounds about something that would do.
Not worry about work. Not worry about
But you'd still
watching a game.
Well, Dad,
But you'd still like you can't just
wait.
Okay.
Wait, Lincoln, if you go to the place you want to go, would you like have to pick a different job?
So let me ask you this though, real
You're
quick,
basically just restarting somewhere else, but with the same people,
because we're still
same
on May.
age.
So Lincoln is 11. Franklin is 8. I'm 42. Let's just say
Mom is
I
42.
snap my fingers and we all of a sudden transport to say like a remote part of like Oahu and say we don't have to worry about food. We can get all the same food that we want to eat, and say we didn't have to worry about school and I didn't have to work. We're living a much simpler life. Are you coming with me?
Yes, but
Yes.
it can't just be like a boring life where we go on the beach all day.
Dude, how could it possibly be boring,
like,
dude?
I'm-
We have
like, I'm just saying-
volcanoes. We
like-
have forests.
No, I'm saying like I don't want to like live just me, you, Frank, and Mom, and
Would it be a beach
and
house?
like just like on the beach and like just like we get our own food and like just live and like live like a beach life.
I have a question.
I still want to do like
Oh my
sports.
God, you wouldn't want to do that?
I would, but like I want to watch like basketball, football.
Well,
Well, what
Link-
if we still had a TV in our house and we could still watch like basketball? and
yeah,
stuff?
you can watch.
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, but like if there's a tsunami coming, then we better have a place to go.
Oh, that's gonna be a problem.
Well, I mean, if a tsunami comes, then we just, hunker down.
Yeah, that's my fear because I seen a clip from a movie. It's like made a couple years ago, like 12 something years. It's everyone's on the beach and then there's this giant tsunami coming. There's like this boat out there with people on it, and the tsunami's coming and they don't have nowhere to go, and they're just
Cool
stuck.
story, dude.
They're stuck, and then I'm afraid that one time that's gonna happen to me. And
Cool story, dude.
okay,
All right, so that's mine. I would definitely want, and it doesn't have to be Hawaii. It could be like Tahiti. It could be
Maui.
Indonesia. It could be Maui. It could be
California,
Definitely. California right now is, I think, trying everything possible to tax people out of wanting to ever live there.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's people living there right now that love it.
There definitely are. But their population has fallen, I think, 5 years in a row. And businesses are exiting because the taxes are just outrageous. But besides the point. All right, so mine would be a remote island that we
beach.
could live on the beach and just live like a really, really simple life.
All right,
Mine.
you can go. I'm still thinking.
I'm thinking of Texas
Why Texas?
because like they have like good events there and like there's stuff that you can do there. I'm thinking Texas, Boston, or California.
You know, Boston's a good. I heard that Boston's a good city to live in.
Well, those are three really different cities. Let me explain.
Boston. Boston's like a town, right?
Boston city, really bad winters, cold, snowy, wet. The people are,
All right, so I'm
Nice.
crossing that off.
I would say the people are close to what people in Philadelphia are like, but
Ooh.
Yeah,
it's,
because we live near Philadelphia.
but you're in a city. Now, California,
A lot of people.
A lot of people, depending on whether you're in the north or the south.
You've got to deal with a lot of.
You know what would be interesting for you, Franklin? I mean, you'd probably get used to it, but the time zone and when you watch stuff. You know how like we watch a football game and we watch it and it starts at like 8 o'clock?
That's Easter time.
Right. Out there, it starts early.
Like at 5.
Yeah, or like 4. It's totally different.
Yeah, like.
And then Texas is like almost its own country, and it's so big.
Oh.
But what's interesting about Texas, similar to California, is there's towns that are really, really populated, and then there's towns where they're just like nobody.
And Dad, now that I'm thinking of it, I want nice people. So
Then you could
it's gonna be cold, but I'm gonna say
Boston.
actually I don't know. Can I just pick 2?
Yeah, you can
All
pick
right.
2. But if you
I'm
had
picking
to,
Milwaukee.
Where did Milwaukee come from?
do you know like because of Giannis and Bucks and Dame?
I'll tell you what, bro. I don't know anything about Milwaukee.
I know that.
I've never been there.
I know that.
I can go to Toronto because they have the nicest people.
I've been to Toronto.
They have nice people.
No, well, Dad, and Milwaukee has cold winters, really cold winters. I heard that it's
Scratch
safe.
that.
It's safe, but it's kind of like Philadelphia. Like it's not like the safest out of all the cities.
But Toronto has nice people.
Yeah, Toronto would be a good place to live in Canada.
You know, I've been to Toronto, and I don't.
Mind it?
They're average.
I wasn't blown away like, oh my God, these people are so nice. But I also wasn't like, oh my God, these people are horrible.
Yeah, it's
So
fine.
I'm picking Toronto.
Okay.
Interesting choice.
Interesting way to get there too. You went from
Texas,
California, Boston, and Texas to Milwaukee, then to Toronto.
and then
I just want to pick nice people.
so
because then
my
I can have like more friends.
mine.
All right. Thank you, Franklin. All right, Lincoln, it's your turn.
I'd probably would want to live. It's between
Remember, it could be anywhere in the world.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
Okay.
Like northeast California, like not near San Francisco, but like 30 minutes out.
That's not really northeast
Like
California.
no, like northern, but like eastern, and then like San Francisco is like down. Like that would be the city that we go to. Like, you know, we go to Philadelphia to watch all sports games. I'd go to the San Francisco watch like Warriors and
Yeah, but here's what I'm going to tell you.
Lakers
You know
and
how
Sharks.
where you live right now, you're used to being like, oh, I'll go to Philadelphia or I'll go to New York. California, dude, is like way different because California is so big. Like, for instance, when you're looking at a map of California, San Francisco is like,
Yeah.
I guess it's more north, but it's just north of like central. Now,
like north of central, like that kind of
Or
part.
would you like
'Cause
to live in
that
like
would be like-
LA,
No,
that'd be
not
like Santa Rosa,
San Jose?
Oakland, San Jose, Santa Cruz.
like Oakland, like right out of like that near them, like, or I'm kind of aiming. Yeah, I'm kind of aiming towards like near Miami, like right outside.
Yeah, that's good. You can go to the beach. The beaches are nice, but they have sharks.
I'm starting to think that Lincoln doesn't like the beach.
I do. I'm gonna go.
Miami has a lot of events too. They do, and California.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go.
pick two.
I'm
You
gonna
can
go
pick
with
two.
Northeast. If I had to live anywhere around the world, I'd pick Italy.
Italy, wow.
Italy's a good one.
Italy near Naples because they have a lot of good food and like that.
Italy.
And if I live in the U.S., I'd pick like right out of central, like kind of like northern near like San Francisco, like not in central California, like around
Italy's
there.
a nice place, and France.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, man, you picked some really different spots.
Yeah, but
But
like,
the more you guys
instead of-
started talking about it, I started thinking about it.
I was
And
thinking about the U.S.
well, we live in the U.S.
I know.
But here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like mine would either be like what I said before, Hawaii or Tahiti, or a place like Iceland.
That's
Iceland.
cold.
That
So
is what's living the
Iceland's
most
really
remote places.
not that much colder. It's so beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, but
I
it's
mean,
about
it's
like
like-
living and like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but it all depends on what you consider living. So there's certain people that consider living like living near a lot of people, going to a city, being able to see a show. Then there's other people that go living. Oh man, living's about being out in the nature, living off the land. And I'd like to. I don't know if I could do that, but I'd like to try.
And guys, remember, you could pick like a fictional world too, like a world.
But fictional world are not as fun as the real world.
Well, it depends on
because-
it depends on where you go. Like,
Because, like, if you pick something like Minecraft, you don't have a lot of stuff to do there.
oh yeah, in Minecraft, just in case you pick that, if you die there, you die. You don't respawn like you do.
No, yeah.
You're in hardcore mode. But all right, Dad. I think I already know what his topic is, but I want to hear.
Oh,
again.
yeah, I forgot.
What do you think my topic is?
What was the scariest moment of your life?
So I was gonna do that.
No,
How about this? How about I
I want to
give?
hear your scariest moment.
How about I give?
I was so excited to hear your scariest moment, but
Well, I can do it. I'll give you 2 topics. You can pick them for what my topic's gonna be.
okay.
One, I wanted to go around the room and say, like, what was the scariest thing that ever happened to you?
Okay.
Where you were, like, actually the scaredest you've ever been.
Like not like I had basketball tryouts and I'm scared.
Yeah, not like, oh, I heard a a noise outside my window. And maybe that's it. Maybe that is your thing. But so what was the scaredest you've ever been in your entire life? Number 1. Number 2, I was going to say, if you could pick any character trait, not like a skill, not like, oh, I'd want to be better at basketball.
No.
If you could pick any character trait to be better at, what would it be?
I'd pick the first one. What about you, Frank?
Wait, what was the second one?
So the first one was, what was the scaredest you've ever been in your
Yeah, I
entire
heard
life?
that.
The second one is, what character trait would you like to be better at? We could do both.
No, I want to do the first one.
All right, so we could start. How about, since
I
you
don't
really
want to do the first. I don't want to do the second.
dweeb.
Ah.
That's strike 1 on the dweeb. All right. How about we do this? Since you really, really want to do the scared one, we'll do the character trait one first, and then we'll go into the scared one.
You know
Okay.
what? I no.
All right.
This is Franco. Do you want to do
Like,
this?
why don't
right?
you start?
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Why don't you start
For what?
a character trait? If you could be better at any one thing,
I think I want to be more outgoing.
oh, that's,
Wow.
you know what?
You can do that.
Maybe my answer is the same.
Oh, okay, that's decent.
So let me ask you this. Why would you want to be more outgoing?
Because I feel like I'm like when I get like my friend like in school and like we have an assembly and they say like raise your hand. Everyone, I feel like I'm the only kid in there that does not raise their hand because I don't want to talk.
Same. I don't want to talk. I'm scared.
All right, so let me ask you
And
this.
like I
Why?
feel like I'm just like I'm funny and like I talk to my friends and like
I
joke
think you're funny
around.
too.
But
Yeah, you are.
but like I just
But let me
I'm
ask
not
you,
like the
hold
most
on.
outgoing.
Well, let me ask you a question though. Why don't you do it? Do you do it because you're afraid of what people think?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Don't worry about other people.
What was the second one? That or
The
what?
second one
Well,
was.
hold on. I want to
what
talk about
trait
this.
Would you be
No,
better at?
we're going to all do the first one first. I want to talk about this just another minute or two. I want you to know that, and I can tell you this because I used to be 11. You could get really lost in thinking that you are so much different than everybody else, or you're scared, or people are going to make fun of you. But I can tell you at your age, dude, everyone's the same.
Yeah, but like there's always that one kid that like in school that it's like when you say something they're like They just say mean
like
things.
they laugh.
Yeah, and like I know a few kids, and if you're listening, you know.
Like if they say, like if you say, like, oh, I like these foods, and they're like, that food sucks. Like,
I know, and they make a big
this
deal about it.
Well,
Yeah.
here's what I can tell you. If you decide to live your life off of doing or not doing something because you're afraid of what someone else is going to think or say to you, you're probably not going to be very happy. You know?
Yeah.
Like, listen, like, I'll pull up an example for you really quick. Okay. I'll pull up an example, one that I think that you can understand.
Wait, Lincoln, was that the second one?
Yeah. The trait you would want.
All right. So when your dad was growing up,
You had a lot of bullies?
do you think that there were any girls or any boys that liked this?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm sure there was a couple kids in that time.
Yeah, there could be. There could be.
Oh yeah, this is his favorite type of music.
But Dad, did you
and
use
yeah.
Hold on. Do you think when I pulled up to ask your mom out on a date, do you think I went like this? Do you think I went, hey, babe, hey, you want to go to a Die Artist Murder concert with me? It's going to be like super rad. Oh, you'll love it.
Wait, Dad.
No way. Nobody liked that music. When I was in high school.
Because you're unique.
No, I don't think I'm unique. I think what happened is it took me a few years, and I wasn't like it when I was 11, Lincoln. So there's still hope for you. But as I got like into high school, like 8th to 9th grade, you know what I started doing? I started going, I don't care what you think.
Yeah, because
And you know what it's like?
you're unique.
It's like a superpower.
It's like,
When you now there's a difference. You don't want to be like selfish and do things that hurt people. Like you don't want to go like, I don't care what people think. I'm just going to eat all the food and I don't care if everybody else is hungry. No, what I'm saying is like the things that you make that are like personal choices that are like the way that you like interact with
say
people.
if like you wear something that someone else doesn't wear, like, and then like someone says, "Why are you wearing that?" and you're like, "I don't care."
Yeah, you're like, because I like it.
Yeah. Well,
like you don't have to wear all the fancy stuff or something.
so that you would want to be more outgoing like me.
So no, this was yours. So you would like to be more outgoing. And Lincoln, I can tell you right now, my personal opinion, you are very outgoing.
No, I'm not. I know on the podcast, but not like. Yeah.
Listen, when you start to talk to people, like you're always very slow to open up and talk. But when you start to talk, you're really smart, really bright.
Yeah, but I just would like Franklin that just like says, "Hi, how you doing?" like right away, not just be like standing there and smiling, looking.
Well, look, there's a quality. There is a quality to not being like super quick like that.
Wait, Dad. Can we say both things when it's our turn?
No,
We're just gonna do the first one, then we're gonna go around and do the other one. So Franklin, what character trait would you like to change or be better at?
Better at be more positive.
Well, I think you're pretty positive.
Yeah, I think you're pretty positive.
But sometimes I could be negative.
No, I mean like.
Well, how about this? How about we rephrase it and say, I like to be a little less negative.
Yeah, like.
Because I'll tell you what, Frankie, you are.
He's not really negative.
So outgoing and fun and sweet and caring, but every once in a while,
you get a little.
Whoa, you turn into like
Godzilla.
Yeah, you turn into like
Godzilla with Godzilla with the mix of Gru.
Yeah, you turn into like.
I know.
I'm hungry. I'm tired.
I know, and like, and he's not on the mic right now. But when you like do something that he does not like, it's a nightmare.
I can hear you.
But it
Put
is.
Put your headphones back on.
But it is, and like, what do you like when you get angry, like what about control it more like that?
I'm telling you, man.
Why don't you do that?
You are the most loving, caring person, but then you also can be an absolute monster. But guess what? It's very, very, very mature to say that you want to be better at it. So do you know what mine is?
What?
Same thing as me.
So, yeah, I mean, here's the thing, though. I'm old enough to go, I've been there, I've done that. I'm 42 years old. I know what I want. I know what I need. And so I don't necessarily want to be more outgoing. I do think that, Lincoln, it could help you greatly in life to be more outgoing. Do you know what I wish I did?
What?
I wish I could be more present in the moment. I'll explain to you what I mean. Mm-hmm. I constantly have, my head is going a million miles an hour. Like and I don't listen very well, because when you're talking to me, like when I'm at work and people are talking to me, or your mother's talking to me, I got like 10,000 other voices in my head going, oh, you got to do this when you're done. Oh, you got to go over and do that. Oh, you got to make sure before you go to sleep that you close this. Oh, you got to make sure. And what happens is I think I don't listen very well. You ever notice how your mom is always like, I told you that. And I'm like, no, you didn't. Yeah. Well, odds are she probably did tell me, and I just forgot.
Well, yeah, because you have a really stressful job, and like you're kind of like
a
leader.
Listen, my job is stressful, but it's not like...
And you have a lot to focus on.
It's not the end of the world, because some people like have to build things all night.
Guys, look at the snow.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the podcast, and we just looked out the window, and it is snowing large snowflakes.
Hey, guys, that guy on WIP who said it was not going to snow, look outside, guys. I told you it's going to snow. Do not listen to the weather.
That's large snowflakes. Wow.
I think that was what Mom was telling me about.
Well, we have about 12 more minutes of the podcast. Do you think by the time we're done, there's going to be like 3 inches of snow out there?
Yes.
No, because it's big enough snow that I can see it on the other side of the tree.
Yeah, no, it's pretty big. Okay. All right, so I think we had good ones. Lincoln wanted to be more outgoing. Franklin, what was yours?
He wanted to be more like...
A little less negative.
A little less negative, okay. And
Yours
mine was...
be more present in the moment.
I'm good.
Writing it down.
Very good, note taker. I gave the boys pads.
And I'm not using mine.
And Lincoln does not have one thing written on his pad. And Franklin has an entire page of notes written down. So...
All right.
That's fine.
Then the scariest thing.
All right.
Here we
Dad's
go. Hold on.
I want to hear Dad's first.
You want to hear mine first?
Yeah, because I know.
Because I have 2.
All right, because you said I never heard this, and I know some of your scariest moments because I've been with you.
I have 2.
All right.
All right. Do you know Carl?
Who's Carl?
Oh, Carl Urban.
Oh, yeah, the person who helped get the shower good?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you remember my buddy? Do you remember my buddy Eric? The one that lived in Pennsville, like across the street from Uncle Daniel?
I've heard of him, but I forget.
Well, ironically enough, both of mine involve those 2 individuals. Carl, when Carl got married, he got married in Mexico.
Fun.
And I don't remember why, but Mom, I think it was maybe because it was during the school year, but Mom could not go to the wedding. Frank, you just got to put those things back in.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Frank, that's just a note-taking book. You don't have to erase stuff. You just cross it out if you don't want it. So Carl got married in Mexico in a place called Riviera Maya. And just slide them in there, Frank.
It's good.
Okay, so when we got to this resort, it's like you've never been to Mexico, but it was like almost, you know what it was like? Remember when we went to Jamaica?
Yeah.
And the hotel was like right on the water and there was a beach. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So our hotel had 2 really, really, really big swimming pools.
Yep.
Okay. And there was an ocean, but the ocean was like very, very different than like our ocean. It was like, no, there was like, it was like the sand was different. And then when you know how our beach, it's like you can't see to the bottom, but it's like sand all the way out.
Yeah.
Okay. Like if you were to swim out like 200 yards and dive all the way to the bottom, it would still be sand.
Wow,
Okay.
the snow has got bigger, like
Yeah.
the snowflakes.
Well, in Mexico, it's like a reef.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like when
yeah.
you swim out, it's a reef. So we were there. It was like our second day,
Yeah.
and me and Eric were sitting on the beach, and I said, "What is that all the way out there in the water?" And the one guy that was working at the beach at the hotel said, "Oh, those are buoys." And he goes, "We put a gigantic net out there, and what we do is we rope the net to the bottom of the seafloor, up to the buoys, and it keeps the big fish out,
Like sharks.
like sharks."
Oh,
and
I see a
barracuda.
video of the surfer going out and that he past the net where the sharks are.
Well, listen to what happened to me.
You went and passed out.
No.
Oh.
So
Sharks
here's what I'll tell you. Sorry about that. I'll tell you that this net was probably, man, if I had to take a guess,
10 feet.
Not
no,
big.
what I'm if I had to take a guess, it was probably 200 yards
Ooh.
out into the water.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
not far.
Not far.
Well, 2 football fields, but
You remember going to the lifeguard races?
Yep.
You know the buoy they put all the way out in the water?
Yeah.
It was like twice that far.
Oh, God.
okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's not far. That's not
So, but what was interesting is the beach that we were on had no waves. It was literally like a lake. So me and Eric were sitting on the beach, and I said to him, I said, "Hey, you think you could swim out to that buoy out there?"
No.
And he was like, "Yeah, I could swim out to that buoy."
Oh,
And then
I
I
see where this is
said,
going.
"I bet you I could beat you."
Oh.
And then he said, "You couldn't beat me." I said, "Dude, I grew up with a swimming pool." And he's like, "I grew up with a swimming pool." And then I was like, "All right, well, there's only one way to find out." So we run into the water and we start swimming. And we're swimming and swimming and swimming and swimming. And I got about 3/4 of the way out there. So again, 3/4 would be more than halfway out there. And I look back, and Eric is struggling a little bit. He's like a little bit out of breath. Now, we were also drinking alcohol,
Oh,
which
That's
is-
stupid. Why would you guys do this?
Because
It's going
we-
to make you drunk.
because we were very dumb. So
And
listen.
young.
So listen. No, I was old enough to drink. I wasn't young. I was old enough to drink.
No, I mean
Like
like
20s?
20s, like that.
Oh yeah,
that
I was like
Were
like
you married?
23.
Were you
I
married?
don't remember what year it was.
No, but I'm saying like not like young, but I'm saying like you were young for like an
I
adult
was,
and like
yeah,
kind
I
of
was
like
in my
yeah, like
20s.
that.
So I swim over to Eric and I go, "Dude, we are closer to the buoy."
Then we are closer to the beach.
Exactly. So it's like, if you're struggling, let's get to the buoy rather than swim all the way back so you can catch your breath. We can rest. So we get to the buoy, no problem. All right. And we're out there. And I just couldn't believe it because I looked down and you could see straight to the bottom of the ocean. You could see all the fish. You could see big fish, small fish. You could look on the other side of the net and see like really big fish. Well, then we're sitting there and we're waiting for Eric to catch his breath. And we noticed, I looked at the beach and I was like, there's nobody on the beach. Where did they all go? And there was this guy that was blowing a whistle. It was sort of like he was going, and I'm like, why is he blowing a whistle? Why is he blowing a whistle?
Oh, I'm scared.
And I turned around and it was so black and dark. It was like the biggest storm ever
Oh, God.
was coming.
Oh, why
And now when you're down in Mexico, this happens a lot in Florida too, in the Caribbean. You could be in a totally blue sky, sun out, and then all of a sudden like that, a huge storm comes out of nowhere and it's really windy and it dumps. So anyway, I turn around and I go, oh my God, Eric, look at this storm coming. And you could see the rain and you could see the wind and the water start moving, and the water all the way out in the ocean. I was like, looks like it's getting rough. So we started swimming back
Oh, you guys are.
because I was like, dude, there's no way we're going to hold on
And that
to
shark
this
meat.
thing. Now listen,
No.
this is where the story gets gnarly.
Gnarly, scary.
We start swimming back, and the wind is blowing probably 40, 50 miles an hour. It's raining so hard. I'm talking, like, you know when it rains sometimes and there's really big raindrops?
Like, it's like the size of the, like.
And I remember vividly the rain was very, very, very warm. I almost never felt rain this warm before. Okay? And we're swimming back, and the water is going like splashing over us, and we're swimming and we're swimming and we're swimming. And then the lightning comes.
Oh.
And then thunder. And the thunder was going. It sounded like a monster. I mean, it was like, it was like, it was crazy.
Was there a shark?
No sharks. Now listen.
All right.
We're swimming back.
Thank God you're still alive.
Still alive. We're barely making it. Eric is struggling. I'm struggling. I want to say it took us like 20 minutes.
Why is the lifeguards not helping you?
Dude, everyone went inside.
Oh.
Everyone was going. I don't even know if they knew we were out there. So we get all the way back. I remember vividly, I got to a spot where I was like, I might drown. And I remember going, I'm just going to sink right now. And I sank in the water. You know how when you're in a swimming pool, you can shut your mouth and you can sink to the bottom and then push off the bottom?
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing. And
Was
then
it shallow?
it was probably like 10 feet where I was at now.
Oh,
That's not bad.
But that's where I was at then, not where I started. So then Eric started really struggling. I finally got him in. So anyway, we finally got to the sand, and we're walking from the sand through the walkway. It's pouring, it's lightning and thundering. And we get to the edge of the hotel.
Scary.
And they had these giant awnings. And everybody that was outside was under these awnings. Now, I was there on a wedding, and there was like probably 50, 60 people that were there for this wedding.
Did they
and
look at you?
Yeah, they're all this on. And go like, where were you guys at? And I was like, bro, we were out in the middle of the ocean. And they were like, get out of here. And that right there
Was the scariest moment.
was one of the scary, because I almost died in the ocean.
Well, thank God you're still alive.
Yeah, well, this is.
Do you want to hear my second one?
Yep.
Then I'll go Daniel.
So my second one also involved Eric.
And your friend.
Oh my God.
So we used to go, this is before I was married, before there was kids, we used to go and drive to a town called Old Forge, New York. Mm-hmm. Okay? And you used to drive up there to go snowmobiling. And it was right on the Great Lakes, but it was also near Canada too. And the reason you would go there is because they would have lake effect snow where it would snow like there'd be no snow, and then all of a sudden a front would come through, and when the cold wind pushed across the Great Lakes, it would pick up a bunch of moisture, and then it would dump it all in Old Forge. So there, it would snow like 30 inches at a time.
Whoa.
So we go up there, and we would rent a little log cabin, and you'd stay, and you would snowmobile all day long. And the town, the way you got around the town was with a snowmobile. So if you wanted to go to McDonald's, you drove a snowmobile.
Oh,
if you wanted to go to the food store, you drove a snowmobile. So
No cars?
There were some cars, but most people got around with a snowmobile.
All right.
So we would go up there and we would snowmobile all day and all night. Now you got to remember, this is before cell phones. This is before GPS on your cell phone. And one night we said, hey man, let's go out for a long, long ride. And we all got gas cans, filled them up with gas, put them on the back of our snowmobile, and we took off. And we were driving through mountains, and we were driving over top of frozen lakes. Lakes so big that you could drive like 80 miles an hour on it, and you could fly across it for 5 minutes and not even get to the other side. They were huge. So it was really dark. And one of our snowmobiles started acting up, not running right. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Which one? Your
It
friend's?
was Eric's.
Eric.
It's always Eric.
It was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and we had a knock on some guy's door and say, excuse me, do you have any oil? And the guy was like, just happened to be up. And he's like, sure. So we put oil in Eric's thing. We got back on the trail. We had to fill up using our gas tanks. So now we had no gas. And we got lost. We were in the most beautiful, mountainous
place.
Trees, middle of the night. There was no light pollution. So when you looked up in the sky, all you saw were stars.
Did you see the northern lights?
I didn't see northern lights, but we saw all these stars. And we were like, oh my God, what are we going to do? We have no idea where we're at. We have no idea where we were at. We were in the middle. And then all of a sudden we hear,
Whoa.
Wolves.
And then we looked into the woods and you could see eyes. And they would go, and I was like, guys, we got to get the heck out of here.
Sure.
So what we did was we turned around and I think we drove for about 30 minutes before we hit a sign. And we drove to that town, which thank God that town had a gas station.
Oh my.
We filled up our snowmobiles and
But how would you get there if you couldn't drive with a snowmobile?
we drove there with a snowmobile, filled them up, and then we said to somebody, hey, do you know how to get back to Old Forge? And they said, Old Forge? Oh my God, you got to go in that trail right there for 2 hours and bear right at this tree. And we made it back. But it was like we almost froze to death and got eaten by wolves. So those are my two stories.
That was really
Let's
good.
clap it up. Clap it up. Good. Who's going next?
Actually, it should have been like
I think we're done.
2 dupes go out into the ocean and almost drown.
That's what happened. That's what I was going to say.
3 dupes go into the deep, deep wilderness on snowmobiles in the middle of a blizzard at night and almost die.
Can I tell you mine?
Yep. What's the scariest, Franklin, you've ever been?
It's going to be, like...
How long have we been doing the podcast? Just so
1 hour and 2 minutes.
So...
we won't be long.
I don't know where it was at. I think it was in Brigantine.
Okay.
But it was in the ocean. Dad took us out, like, farther than a 5-year-old would go.
Okay.
This was in Fenwick,
Hold on, let him tell us.
Oh, yeah, it was in Fenwick.
Delaware.
Or Delaware, yeah. And Dad and Papa...
And Uncle Kevin.
Uncle Kevin, yeah.
Because I was in the
Papa was holding Lincoln.
No,
and
Pop-Up was just swimming, and Uncle Kevin was holding me, and Dad was
holding me.
Pop-Up was sucked out.
It was like deep, and then
Rough.
Dad, there was a wave, and he dropped us on the bottom.
So can I explain myself?
And you kicked me like so much times.
I never got to explain myself here.
All right.
So first off, you were actively pushing yourself away from me, which was ironic because you would think if you were scared.
Because you were so deep out.
Yeah, but you would think if you were scared, you would be trying to like
Like
hold
a 5-year-old.
on to me, but you were actually trying to push yourself off of me.
So you can get back to land.
So
So you can get
then-
back to land.
And here's the thing, we weren't very deep, but what happened was
5-year-olds think that's
well, it was deep for you, but I was holding you. So the first wave came and we jumped over it. The second wave came and I tried, it was very big. I tried to pick you up and put you over the wave, but when the wave hit you,
It went like this.
I was holding you just with my hands, not with my body, and we got pushed right to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, and anyway, I vividly remember Uncle Kevin taking me in, and I can remember the shells above me. I remember Pop-Up just struggling, and he got crushed. And he
I remember getting water in my ears, and I couldn't get it out
Wait a minute,
for like a week.
Is this where the water in the ears came from?
Yes, I couldn't. I could not. Like,
Well, you know what? You know what's
Literally.
ironic, Franklin?
I couldn't get it out until a week.
Can I just tell you something? What's ironic is I just told 2 stories about the scaredest I've ever been in my entire life.
Funny.
That actually,
You almost died, Lincoln.
that actually, well, he didn't almost die. You almost died. That is actually the scaredest I think I've ever been in my life, because I thought, like, as much as you would think there's no possible way.
Like, you cried in public. So do I.
Listen.
It's just
as
that
much
bubble
as you would
crushed
think,
down. I was like,
Frank, I'm talking to you.
What?
As much as you would think that I would do everything possible not to lose you in the water, I did. And I still remember, I'll never forget this. I still remember turning around.
And not finding me.
Well, no, because I did find you.
Yeah, but not
wait,
finding
Because
me.
you're a little-
where was he?
This is what I was going to say. I'll never forget this. I remember hitting the bottom so hard and you coming out of my hands, because that's when you came out of my hands, when I hit the bottom. And I remember coming up thinking that where we were at was not very deep. So I was like, I think he's going to be standing. And I remember coming
I
up.
was literally sitting.
I remember coming up out of the water and I looked behind me and all I saw were your eyes, your nose, and your mouth, like this, above the water.
I remember him.
And he was being sucked out.
Remember the ball we lost before, and he had it. And I remember you jumped to get Franklin, and the ball got crushed. And Pop tried to get the ball, but he fell into the way.
Man. And like,
But that was very scary.
when we,
I remember Pop trying to get the ball, and he fell into the wave, and then
I'm talking. So, like, so
somebody.
like, when
Okay.
that happened and we went to the beach house, I was like, when I slept, I was dreaming about that. Like, I was like saying, I was like with Dad and other people that I was with, and I was just like having a good time in the water, and I was just thinking about that and the wave coming, and I was strangled underwater, but the dream changed a little, and there was a whirlpool, and it sucked me out. Like,
Well, there's a few things I learned from that. And when we went back to the house, I remember you sleeping and I was with you and I stayed awake and literally watched you the whole time, because we had no idea how much. What did you swallow? Any water? You did?
yeah, my throat felt like,
Because there's such a thing as, like, when a little kid swallows water like that and you don't really realize it, they go to sleep and they actually can drown, like, in their sleep right afterwards. So I wanted to watch you. But there's 2 things that I learned from
I'm just
that.
joking, I didn't swallow anymore.
Okay,
But I
good.
was like screaming underwater.
So, well, don't do that, because there's a few lessons to be learned here. Number 1, next time I would have bear hugged you rather than held you with my hands.
And number 2,
And number... Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Dweeb.
That's 2
That's
strikes.
strike 2. It's 2 dweeb strikes.
If you have 3, you're out.
And here's the thing, Franklin.
What?
The biggest lesson to be learned from that is you gotta know how to swim. Even if you don't know how to swim, you
still
gotta
be
know how to
protected.
tread water, and you gotta stay calm, because you know what? When people drowned, they typically drowned because they're tired. Like, remember the story I just told? I knew how to swim. I knew how to swim really good. I swam all the way out there. But if I drowned, it would have been because I was tired. And you get tired when you freak out and you go,
yeah,
and you start
and
hyperventilating.
I remember, like I said in the beginning, Uncle Kevin grabbed me. I remember seeing the shells and you coming out, and then Stephanie and Grandmom and like Mom came out. They took you home, but they didn't take me home.
Yes, they did.
I actually, because this happened to me too, I swallowed so much water that when I went pee, I swore I saw like salt water, like, and I could not, and like I was like, oh, but I feel like you got, and then I got like cut by shells, and I think Pop Up was a little banged up too.
Lincoln.
All right, well, listen. Thank you, Franklin.
Was that yours?
Well, no,
too?
hold on, Franklin. Thank you for telling that, and that was a doozy because that scared me too. So, Lincoln, you're up. Scaredest you've ever been?
Only one story.
Probably what Franklin said. No, because at that time I wasn't really scared because I knew how to swim, but like
for me,
it was
I
fun.
was young.
And for me, it was kind of fun at that moment, but it was scared because I didn't know where Franklin was.
I know one for you.
But the one time
When Lincoln did eat spaghetti.
This is no, well, this is one time. This is really dupe, and I don't know if you guys would think, but be honest with you, I don't remember.
Like Lincoln,
but
it can be scary.
Hold on, he's telling it right now.
One time, I was in my room. I mean, I know you said don't say a sound, but I heard a knock like a.
How old were you?
This was like last year, I think.
Okay.
Oh my!
And I saw I saw a video. I know this is like in my head. I really don't know if it was, but I saw like a shadow come out, and then I heard like, and it was not Franklin because I checked Franklin's room. He was like curled in a ball in his bed, as always. I checked if you were still in your bed. And I was sweating. Like, I think I could have made a pool with all my sweat. And, like, and then I went to bed. And I woke up. Like, literally, this was not in my dream. And there was this giant, I think Grandma was sleeping with me this time because she had nowhere to sleep. I remember it was like 2 days after Christmas. I got this giant gorilla. Remember the gorilla that get the hair everywhere?
Yep.
I saw it right there where I looked up, but it was not there, and I felt it, and it was the gorilla. And I went back to sleep, and I woke back up, and it was gone.
Rock-a-bye baby on the treetop.
I'm still talking.
The wind blows, the cradle will.
No, and then, but like I remember it being right over there, in like because we're recording this in our basement, right over there, like, and then I'm like, that's so strange, and I told Grandma, and I woke up, and Grandma was not in my bed either, and it was real life.
Where was I?
Well, you know what you do?
And I was like nervous, and I was like, what was that? And it was not a dream. I felt it too. I vividly grabbed the hair off it. I don't know if it was you joking me or.
Do you remember? I wasn't joking you. Do you remember in Home Alone when Kevin ran outside and said, "Hey, you hear me? I'm not afraid anymore."
He's afraid.
Well, he faced his fear, and
For 2 seconds.
but you know, so much of that, Lincoln, is in your head.
But I remember touching the gorilla, and I'm like, why is this here? And I went back to bed, and it was gone, and Grandma was gone, and everyone.
Well, I have one. Do you remember this summer when I wanted you to come out with me surfing that day that it was really big? And I said to you, I just want you to get out there. I didn't want you to surf anything. I just wanted you to be out there with me. Do you remember that?
I hate that.
Do you remember when we were paddling out? You were freaking out.
Those waves were big, and there was a bunch of pros out there, and I was like, I was a kook.
Okay, but let's talk about it. What happened?
I sat out there, and I got crushed by a wave. I was holding on barely, and there was all these pros looking at me. And
Bro, you're a liar. We got out there, and you literally were on your board the entire time. You never almost got crushed by a wave.
Yes, I did.
And then what happened? And then what happened when we went to go in?
That was fun.
We rode some waves in. We rode the whitewater.
Yeah, but that was not scary. But
All right.
I think that will wrap
we
it up.
we did an hour and 15 minutes. We learned about how our week was. We learned about what invention we would make. We learned about where we would live if there was any place.
What
was the scariest moment?
What was your scariest moment?
Which I think was the best topic.
What trait would you be better at?
And wait,
Yeah.
before we leave, what was the best topic we talked about? I think was the scariest because I got to learn perspectives.
Yeah, I think it was too.
It was either the invention or the scariest because I got to learn different perspectives of like
Other
yours
people.
and mine
Other people.
and yours.
Yeah. So this was a good subject. Hopefully tomorrow at work, I will get my laptop back.
Wait, tomorrow? We're off on tomorrow.
I'm not. So hopefully tomorrow at work, I get my laptop back. And then we'll have a program on there called GarageBand. And then I have to get...
I know GarageBand. I used it in school.
Do you really?
I made a song. I made my own song in school with GarageBand.
Well, did you use a Mac?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you need a Mac. So that's what my IT guy is doing. He's downloading a virtual box on the computer.
It's like an iPad, but it's like a Mac.
Yeah. That's what we're going to use to edit these podcasts, and then I can put them on the internet.
Oh yeah, you can choose different sounds, and I made my own song. I think it's pretty good.
But guys, before we sign off, we have to think of a podcast name.
In Flop City, we're not in City.
City is not literal.
We're not in a city called
I guess
Flop.
we're gonna name it
Here are my two picks.
the 3Ds.
No, you can't do triple D because that'll be...
Because Dad's
Triple D's are...
Dad is a D. I'm an F. Lincoln's an L.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be Dad, Dupe, and Dupe. Triple D. But there's already a show called Triple D. So my votes are either the TheRippStixx podcast, which I think is very cool because nobody is the TheRippStixx.
All right, well,
And see, here's the thing. You think of TheRippStixx and you just think of surfing, but nobody knows what the TheRippStixx are.
Well, Dad, did you know there's actually something called a ripstick?
I do, but it's spelled differently and it's totally different.
Yeah.
So if you want to know what people are going to think of when they think of the TheRippStixx, do you know what they're going to think of? Look at me. Us.
well,
So I think that's a good name.
I'm gonna have to delete all my basketball edits because I think...
No.
We'll figure it out.
You can keep it.
All right, well,
We'll figure it out.
the TheRippStixx, go subscribe, and I don't make the best videos. And no, I did not steal. I asked.
Well, listen,
Credit.
we're just starting, guys. We're getting better at this.
And
And the official name is the TheRippStixx podcast.
Well, guys, that is it for the show.
And I hope...
I'm Franklin Wyckoff,
I'm Lincoln Wyckoff.
And I'm Dad Wyckoff.
a.k.a. Keith Wyckoff. And we are the TheRippStixx podcast.
Episode 2, baby.
Subscribe and comment down below. Bye. See you next time.
If you want to talk about any other stuff on the podcast, comment down below.
Bye.
See you guys later.
Subscribe.
See you.